Hey everyone, what's going on? Greg here again from Team Blast. I want to share what you need to do next if your local SEO rankings drop completely. So the keyword here is movers, Smyrna GA. I worked on this account for many months. I was able to get it to its highest share of local voice, which, the map was a lot greener and they were getting more phone calls and leads for it. Now today, the rank has completely dropped. It's at a 0%. They're not going to get any visibility for this keyword and they'll probably see less phone calls and leads as well. So what happened and when? So this was a previous client of mine. I've been tracking their results uh, for months now. And what's nice about Local Falcon is that every time you run a scan, it does a trend report. So you can see exactly how things are going, and then the peak, and then the drop. So the peak took place was around that 35% mark. And now in May, this particular account has just fallen off completely. A competitor took the share away from my former client. Just to look at their share of local voice line, you can see we went from 12.5%, then it dipped in really just for about 1 month, but then it skyrocketed to its highest level from February all the way through April. And now on the 20th, it is at a 0%. So again, just to put it in context of really what happened. So I'm taking just three different screenshots from this just to show you how the map has changed. This is on the 29th, so January 29th on the left. It's okay. There's some dots that are green, so they're getting some visibility for this keyword. Their best, though, was in April 16th. You can see so many green dots. This is a 15 by 15. It's very granular. It's a 10-mile radius that I was doing the scan for. This was their best. Now, today, it is not found at all on page one for this particular keyword. Again, it's going to lead to less impressions and then less phone calls and then less leads and then less, obviously, closings for that. So this is what I would do next. So the first pass is from Local Falcon itself. So every time you run a trend report scan, if you don't check it off, you will get an AI summary of what maybe you want to do next. Now, I've been doing this for a while, so this is just a good first pass. I would say if you're new to local SEO, definitely consider some of these suggestions, but this is like a good starting point. Things that I look for are maybe spam listings we might want to take a look at just to make sure that they're not taking valuable share away from us. They'll also say when our last post was. They'll give you some different keyword suggestions. I would say this is a really good first place to take a look at if you're completely new to local SEO. Read the suggestions, maybe implement some of these on the Google My Business account. See if then in a future scan if that did the trick. Most likely than not, it's not, but it's a good starting point. Next, look at the competitor report. So I can see over here 2 men in a truck moving. They are dominating for this particular keyword. A lot of green dots, 1, 2, and 3 across the board. If your dots 1, 2, and 3, that's the share of local voice. It means you're on page 1 of Google via the map pack. You're going to get the most impressions, phone calls, leads, and then probably even customers too. This keyword is so competitive. In fact, you can look at every business that's located roughly around this grid that I have, and you can see how many different movers are all going after this particular keyword. So to get in the top 3, you could be going up against 40, 50, 60 different companies as well. So it's so critical to maintain your rankings because if you drop, like this particular case, someone else now just gained that. They're going to get the phone calls, everything like that. So I can see who is at the top. What I would do next. So this is the third pass. So this is my Google My Business account. I share this because I want to talk a little bit about what I would do. So based on the AI suggestions that Local Falcon gave, I would like to look at a comparison between the top couple different competitors, especially the one that took the share away. And I look for gaps. And gaps could be things like your category. They could be things like your photos, reviews, local phone number, question and answers, how many updates you've done, products and services. Take a look at your profile and then match that against your direct competitor. For example, they might have gotten very competitive for that keyword. They might have added as a product or service or in their description or updates, or they maybe got a bunch of reviews now from Smyrna GA. You need to go through that analysis to figure out what happened, what drop, or what they did, potentially now have Google give them the confidence in their ranking to show them up higher. Fourth pass. Now, so we talk a lot about the Google My Business account. That's important, but entities are critical. You can't just have a Google My Business account. For example, I had a lead that reached out to me from New York City. And they're a concrete paver, and they're brand new. I think they were number 44 out of 44 for the keyword concrete service. And they had like a new website, but not a whole lot of entities were out there. So you can make a lot of changes to your Google My Business account, but do this search within Google. So do brackets, your website name.com, and then do minus site and your website name. The reason why you want to do that is you want to see what Google knows about your business, your website that's not on your actual website. So entities are critical. You want to be on social media platforms. You want to be on online directories. You want to have an established presence. So then when Google is looking to rank Google My Business profiles, they see like some more signals out there of, okay, got it. These other sites are talking about how they're a local business and they service these type of requests. Next, so that was Google. One thing you can do is kind of play around with Chat GPT and Copilot and any other AI service. What I like to do is get an idea of what Copilot knows about my business. So I'll ask, how does Team Blast compare to other SEO agencies? And I can see the sources they pull. So obviously my website is twice, but then Trust Index is the second position right over there. The reason why I know that's an important link for me is if I go back over here, Trust Index does show up as a strong entity that was built. So if you are searching for, something like, the Smyrna GA movers and you do the entity search, you realize, maybe you only have like Yelp or you only have Facebook or not a lot of entities that really give a lot of like high credit for what you're offering. Look for then online directories that you can get listed on. It's a great way to kind of build up that trust for other outside entities to talk about your business. I believe Google looks at that as well from a ranking perspective. You can also use ChatGPT. So now ChatGPT is a little different because you have to it's more conversational and smaller. It's more personalized. So I did the first initial query was TM Blast, and I said, how are they at local SEO? And I can see that they pull my pages on my website, but they also have other entities as well. I see Trust Index again that's listed. So I'm sharing this because again, if you are for your own business saying, oh wow, I did the same entity search that Greg just suggested, and there's not a lot of sites that talk about what the service that I provide, look to get on them. It's going to really help from a entity building standpoint because I really believe Google's looking at third-party sites talking about your particular service, and especially that one keyword, you might want to get a little bit more focus on that from the local directory standpoint. Or you can talk about blogs on your website about how you did a moving project in Smyrna GA, and you can share photos and the videos, and you can just build up a lot more trust signals really on your website. And which is the next point over here is the website. So if you don't have a particular service page on your website about that, definitely create one. Create a Smyrna GA moving page. But if you already have one, look for ways to kind of refresh that. So again, photos, videos, updated content. You can you can embed your Google My Business map directly onto the page and then show the directions of how far away that is from your headquarters. You can talk about different towns and cities that that you service. So either build the page or expand upon it to really give more signals for Google. And then finally, the eighth pass of what to do. So we talked about the top competitor over here, but what I like to do is if we're at a 0%, which is this is what this one keyword is now, it is just dropped off completely. What you want to do is you want to go through winnable dots. So look for your own map and look for the dots that are, I'll scroll at the very top so you can see what I'm talking about. Look for over here where it says the awful part. Look for dots that are, yellow. So 5 and 6 and even 4. Those are the dots you want to flip because you got to start getting share back. So I wouldn't worry too much about saying, oh my God, we went from a 35% share of local voice, we're at a 0%. How do we get 35% back? You have to start getting 1% back and then 4% back and then 10% back and keep building upon that so you can get more high quality impressions, get more leads, get back to your business. So what I recommend is use the local Falcon tool, zoom in directly of where you're ranking 4, 5, and 6. Look at these specific competitors that are ranking in dots 1, 2, and 3, then do a comparison within Excel. Look for gaps. How many reviews do they have? What's their local area number? Question and answers. How often do they do updates? Products and services. Can you upload new photos to your profile? Whatever you can do, look for those as the areas you need to kind of compete at, so you can rank and then get more phone calls too. So anyway, in summary, this was a lot that I kind of went over, but this is so common to see. For clients that I have that I'm working on, sometimes when things are not really changing, like when rankings are good, it's easy to kind of sit back and say, kind of like what's really happening. Like what is this company doing? Should we just do this in house or should we take a break? You definitely can, but the problem is that when you don't have someone else that's actually running active scans, that's actually looking at the map, A drop like this will actually take longer now to reverse than if you simply had somebody who was monitoring this on a weekly basis or every few days basis of running the scans for multiple different keywords and then catching trends if you are starting to drop or not. But basically, that's what I would do next. Hope this video was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and as always, have a good rest of your day.